up this morning, waking up before it's getting 9. Kinda heavy on my shoulders, tracking down some moments back in time.
Welcome to the first episode of Dad Poker. This channel is going to be dedicated to poker analysis and lots of dad jokes from a part-time poker player and a full-time dad. I am playing 5-5 no limit at the Gardens Casino in Los Angeles. I arrive around 11 p.m. after putting my kids Dixie and Duke to bed. In our first hand, the undergun opens for 20 and the +1 calls. I'm in the cutoff and look down at pocket nines. There's some merit to 3-betting here, but without knowing anything about the other players at the table, I decided to take the more passive route and just call. The button big blind also call. We go 5 ways to a flop of 4 king jack with 2 diamonds. I'm ready to release my hand and it gets checked through. The turn brings our set with the 9 of diamonds. Action gets checked to me. Obviously, we lose the straights and flushes, but our hand is strong enough to get value from top pairs, middle pair, flush draws, and straight draws. We cannot check here, we have to bet. No need to bet huge, so I go for around half pot with a $50 bet. No takers, but taking the pot down is a good start to the session. In the next hand, we are in the cutoff and are dealt Queen 9 of hearts. The undergun limps and is folded to me. Most of the time, limpers are looking to flop a big hand or get out of the way. Limpers deserve to be punished for being passive, and I'm here to be the punisher. I raise $20. Everyone folds except for the gun. The gun probably has a speculative hand, like suited connectors, a smallish pocket pair, or a suited ace. We go to a flop of ace of hearts, 4 diamonds, 5 diamonds. The flop favors my range as the pre-flop raiser, although we have very little going except for a running flush draw. On the gun checks, and I bet $25, planning to double barrel if a favorable card comes. On the gun calls. The under the gun probably has a weak ace, straight draw, pair plus straight draw, or flush draw. The turn comes a 7 of spades, and under the gun checks to me. This is a bad card to barrel, as it increases equity for the opponent's range. I check behind and see a river with the queen of clubs. My opponent checks, so I'm pretty sure that I have the best hand, but I have trouble thinking of hands that I get value from on the river, so I check behind. My opponent says I'm good, I show the pair of queens, we rake in another pot. We are off to a good start. Next, we are on the button with queen jack of spades. The middle position opens for 20. He is the big stack on the table with $1,800. I have a stack of $850. I call on the button. We go to a flop of king, king, 4, 2 clubs, and 1 spade. We have multiple backdoor draws, but currently only have queen high. Villain checks to me, I decide to check back. The turn is the jack of diamonds. Middle position checks. I decide to bet $25 for value versus draws and smaller pairs. Middle position calls. The river is a 2 of spades. Middle position checks again. We have a strong hand for this exact spot. The pot's $100. We can get value from smaller pairs and worse jacks. We don't want to size big here, so we go for a half pot bet of $50. Middle position calls immediately, which is usually not a good sign as he flips over ace jack. He let us do his value betting for him. Good hand, good hand. Here we go with deuces in middle position trying to bounce back. Under the gun +1 raises $20. I call middle position and the small blind also calls. 3 ways to a flop of 2, 5 queen with 2 spades. Small blind checks. Under the gun +1 bets $25. I reject his price point and rely on my economics degree to help me figure out the proper price point. I decide to shift the demand upward, which increases the price. I raise $55. The small blind folds. Our opponent doesn't call, though. He raises to $160. He started the hand with $310, so he only has a little more than $100 left.
Do you have more blacks? Okay, thank you.
Nothing to do but go all in. Our opponent calls and asks us, I give him the bad news and says that's cool. The run out comes clean with the 8 of diamonds and the queen of clubs giving us a full house. We show and win a big pot. The table breaks a couple minutes later. On to our second table of the night. Across the table we notice a regular who we have played with a bunch. his name is Nathan, has a stack of $1,700. We are not scared of playing a big pot with him, but there are plenty of bad players for us to focus on. In this first hand of the next table, we pick up Ace of Diamonds, Queen of Spades. In middle position, early on, under the gun opens for $15. This is a hand that I 3-bet about half the time versus under the gun open. This time I elect to 3-bet to $45. The hijack, cutoff, button, small blind, big blind, under the gun, the dealer, the floor man, and 6 other players from other tables all call. We go 82 people to a flop of Ace of Hearts, Queen of Hearts, 10 of Clubs. It's checked to me. This board favors my 3-bet range and drills my exact hand. I'm thinking about how to get my whole stack in the middle. If I bet half pot on the flop, my SPR, stack to pot ratio, will be less than 1 on the turn and be an easy shove as long as a blank comes on the turn. I bet $165 and Ole, the undergun player, calls. The turn is not a blank, it's actually amazing, as it is the Queen of Clubs. Based on the action, it feels like I have a nutted hand. The opponent checks, and now we are in an interesting spot. Do we check back and hope that he improves, or charge draws the maximum? Does our opponent call with draws? In the moment, I decide to check, but I think I should have bet a small amount in case draws miss the river. The river is the Jack of Spades. Under the gun checks. I go all in, hoping he has a king for a straight. The longer he thinks, the less likely he has a straight. After a little while, he ends up folding.
Oh, it's a great freaking show, man. Good job. That was unreal.
To celebrate, I point the camera upward to admire the amazing ceiling and my nose hairs. On to the next hand. After about an hour of losing some small pots and mostly folding, we get Jack 10 of Spades under the gun. We open for $20, and the middle position, hijack, big blind, call. We go 4 ways to the flop of King of Diamonds, 10 of Clubs, 7 of Spades. We have mid-pair and backdoor draws. The big blind checks. This is not a great multi-way flop to barrel. Lots of draws, better 10s, and kings are going to call. So I decide to check. The middle position bets $25. It folds to me, and I decide to call and reevaluate on the turn. The turn is the 3 of Spades, which gives us a flush draw. I check, playing in flow, and the middle position bets $30. The sizing is a live tell, and I don't think this player has a strong hand. There is some merit to raising, but because of my showdown value, I decided to just call, hoping not to get re-raised on the turn. The river is the 9 of Diamonds, and the action gets checked through. The villain shows 9-8 of offsuit for a rivered pair under mine. We scoop the pot. This is our last hand of the night, and we start with pocket aces. Been waiting all night for this hand. I immediately daydream of getting 7-bet all in by ace king offsuit and winning a $2,000 pot. That doesn't happen as we open for $20 in mid position and only the cutoff and button call. The flop comes out 9-5-6 rainbow. We bet $35 for value and are hoping not to get raised. Only the cutoff calls and we go to a turn. The turn is a safe card, the 2 of Spades. There's a flush draw available now. We are still looking to get value from draws and worse pairs and not to get raised. We bet $125 and the cutoff just calls. The river might be the best card in the deck. It is the 2 of Clubs. All draws miss, and top pairs of 9x stay top pair, which is a big part of the range we get value from on the river. We bet $185 into a $390 pot. Again, we are hoping for a call and not a raise. A river raise would be disaster. We end up rubbing a lamp, a genie pops out, and we get our wish. Our opponent just calls. We show our hand, scoop a massive pot of $760 to finish the night. Time to rack up and go home.
Pocket aces.
When I was young, my daddy said, gotta keep one eye open in your bed. 'Cause there's a time coming when the devil gonna come.
right, so video 1 coming to an end. Got some solid hands, flopping sets, turning sets, pocket aces, getting paid on some key spots was really good. It's always nice to finish up with a win. Final numbers will be here. I think it was about a $1,300 profit. Usually when I win more than $1,000, I go get donuts for the family. We saw the donut film, and so I'm gonna enjoy a couple bites of chocolate twist. Probably my favorite. Better with coffee, but I'll drink the coffee in the morning. It's about 2:23 in the morning, and just happy to be finished. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.